Hi, my name is Joan. I made a posting earlier that I was going to do a YouTube video, my first one on this channel, besides shorts. Well, I'm a little dyslexic. I have a brand new desktop computer, and it's pretty obvious I don't know what I'm doing with it. And so this video got delayed a lot. Anyway, I want to welcome you to my channel. This is Living with Griefs, and we're going to be discussing all kinds of things. Current events, daily lives, struggles, today's economy, which seems to be a huge stressor on the emotions, relationships, and all goes right down to the food you eat at night and what that's going to be. Filling up the grocery cart. But first we're going to cover the recent things that have been going on, which are really horrific. I got a breaking update today from Hurricane Helene. And the death toll has risen to 118, with more than 1,150 missing. That is 46 deceased in North Carolina, with 1,000 remain missing. 30 in South Carolina, 25 in Georgia, 13 in Florida, 2 in Tennessee, and 153 remain missing, 2 in Virginia. I can't even imagine the devastation. I can't even, I've got family in Florida, extended family, and a sibling. And they're not in an area, thank God, that was affected. But what I seen that was affected, Clearwater, Tampa area, all the way up, it just is heart-wrenching what those people have to go through to try to put their lives back together again. And that goes for Georgia. I have family in Georgia. My friend's mother-in-law lives in Georgia. And yes, it went up there, right in those areas, but they were okay. Trees down, stuff like that. But they're alive, they're well, they're breathing. That's all that matters. The outages across 5 states, millions without power. They're getting it. There's linemen working, and I saw that. So the numbers that I have from this morning are no longer accurate. So I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to give misinformation. But there are areas, especially in Tennessee and North Carolina, that could go weeks without electricity. Now, I know for the most part of us, we've been through storms, whether it's rainstorms, snowstorms, whatever the case may be, and we've lost power. And it was nothing but a huge annoyance and inconvenience. And we were moaning and groaning And then an hour, 2 hours later, it came back. We walk around blowing out our candles and everything else that we got going on in the meantime, and we're relieved. Try to imagine going weeks. I know at that hurricane last year that went through Florida, and it flooded out the Sarasota County. Extended family was there. She got flooded. She went over 2 weeks without water. And I didn't know this because I never lived in Florida. I'm from the Midwest. She couldn't get water. And I didn't understand that. But apparently in her area, and I don't know if it's like this all over, but apparently in her area, she has a pump that pumps the water up. And if you don't have electricity, that pump's not going to pump water up. So she had to rely on bottled water that was brought in and things like it was just and that's small in comparison to what all these other people are going through. So that's why I said yesterday in my short, boy, if anybody's in the surrounding areas and they can give a helping hand, grab a chainsaw, head that way, start cutting limbs, help those people, clear roadways, because they can't even move around, even if they wanted to. But be very safe about it, because you certainly don't want to be going anywhere where there might be live wire, even though everybody is saying the power's out. You don't want to test that. But they are calling, people are out of oxygen. People that use oxygen to live, they're running out of oxygen. Baby needs, diapers, formula, baby food in general. They did one interview today where I heard pet food, kitty litter, that kind of stuff. People aren't bringing that kind of stuff. And they're rescuing. I saw a video today of good people going out in their boats and rescuing these poor dogs standing on roofs to try to get away. And these guys climbing on roofs to get the dogs. And it was boat after boat, because as they were going down the road, everybody's dogs were left behind. And so this is what's going on. And then I came across this, breaking: several deputies killed in the storm. In North Carolina, a Macon County Sheriff deputy, a Madison County Sheriff deputy, Bladen County Sheriff deputy. Deputies died due to Hurricane Helene. We pray for those. They were leaving their own area to go assist. And they ended up losing their life. And then I came across this. If storms aren't bad enough, in Georgia, a sprinkler malfunction at the Rockdale County Chemical Facility early Sunday morning has prompted a shelter-in-place order, evacuations, and road closures. Around 5 a.m., a sprinkler at the BioLab facility on Old Covington Highway in Conyers malfunctioned and sprayed water on the chemical, causing a reaction that created a large hazardous smoke plume. which then began drifting in the northeast. Rockdale County Fire Chief Marion McDaniel said in a press briefing shortly after 10 a.m. I saw pictures of that, and it reminded me of East Palestine, Ohio. It was horrific. And the thing is, they're not saying what kind of chemical is causing that reaction. And that's the bad part. They're not being honest. They're not being upfront. They only told surrounding communities, stay inside, shut your windows, shut your doors, don't breathe the outside air. If that's the case, don't you think those people ought to get out of there? At least until they find out. Better now than 10 years down the road and have the effects start to take over your body. That made me sick about the dishonesty and just the lack of knowledge that, like, we're not worth the information. It's posts like that that make me sick. A friend reached out. There is a salon in Franklin, North Carolina. They are welcome to come there and connect with their Starlink internet and reach out to the family and friends. And the address is 409 Highlands Road, Franklin, North Carolina. For those people who have no internet connection, of course, the cell phone towers aren't working. This salon on 409 Highlands Road in Franklin, North Carolina, has a Starlink satellite, and she has opened her shop to let people use it so that they could reach their loved ones. It's a very kind gesture. In Western North Carolina, providers have enabled disaster roaming regardless of what surface a person has. If they are in an area with any functional network, they will be able to make calls, send text message, go to settings, and then connections under mobile network settings. Make sure roaming is enabled. And that was in North Carolina too. It doesn't matter what cell phone service you have. They're opening up the towers that are there to all services. So it's good to know if you have family. I hope you don't, but it's good to know if you have anybody in North Carolina that sporadic areas do have some help. And if anybody there can get that or to get the help, that's the big thing. That's where good citizens come in. Like I was talking earlier about, anybody in the area, if you could donate anything to the shelters, or there's lines that looked like a mile long that I was seeing of people waiting to get to the shelter, to get any kind of food, water. It's really horrific. And that's only North Carolina. We're talking Tennessee. They're going through the same exact thing. Their bridges and dams washed out. Excuse me. Western North Carolina Disaster Relief. Drop-off location, Bucks Auto Service. 10262 US 70, business, Clayton, North Carolina. There's one. Items needed: non-perishable food, bottled water, personal hygiene items. They're actually calling for body soap, face soap, and cleaning solutions, disinfectants. So personal hygiene items, baby diapers, wipes, cleaning supplies, pet supplies. And that was in Clayton, North Carolina. Okay, here's another one. The United Cajun Navy Carolinas chapter now has a pod opened and accepting supply donations at Excel College, 12 Florida Avenue, Black Mountain, North Carolina. And that's at the United Cajun Navy. And if you want to go on their website, it's www.unitedcajunnavy.org. And this poor guy. A plea for help. We need someone to help us here in, I'm going to screw this up, Swannanoa Mobile Home Park. Our road is washed out. We have 3 elderly ladies who need oxygen. We have no power or water. Could some donate time and a tractor to dig our road out so that we can get out? Stuff like that is just heartbreaking. And then today, voila, just on time, Verizon customers across the country report problems accessing the company's wireless network, with some reporting Monday morning that their phones were limited to SOS service. Isn't that ironic, the timing? But I'm going to behave my mouth. I hope nobody in Tennessee or North Carolina has Verizon, but I know better. Over 280 law enforcement officers have been shot this year. I don't think that surprises any of us. I think it's absolutely sickening seeing that in my extended family, I have 3 police officers. And I worry about them, and I make phone calls, and that's in a major city that I will not say. I'll give you 2 guesses, though. It's in the Midwest. Okay. The aftermath of Hurricane Helene, leaving 2.1 million people without power and killing at least 120 people. That is sad, and that is very... These people need prayers. Seriously. I don't care if you're atheist. At least ask God for help. Doesn't take a certain kind of religion. God listens to everybody. That's one thing I never understood. And that we're going a little off track here. One of my parents was Lutheran, and the other parent was Catholic. And this is an example. Obviously, looking at my age many years ago. They wanted to get married. Okay, there was a big fight in the family. It had to be a Lutheran ceremony. No, 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 no. This side said it had to be a Catholic ceremony. And they battled and battled. So what did my parents end up doing? They got married in both churches. One service was set at one time, and then they went from that church to the other church to have a duplicate ceremony. And mom's family sat in the one church, and dad's family sat in the other church. I'm sure this goes on to this day. Well, if people still get married. I'm sure this goes on to this day, where there's this huge dividing line in religion. But here's the question I got to ask myself. And I've made this point numerous times. When people say, oh, well, I'm this religion. Oh, I'm that religion. And my Bible's not the same as your Bible. Blah, 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 blah. Well, of course not. It's been rewritten how many times? It certainly wasn't the same Bible Jesus wrote. Anyway, or the apostles. But anyway, I made a point, and I looked at this person that made the comment, well, not my religion. I said, well, what God do you pray to? Well, the God in heaven. I said, well, funny. So do I. And my point to her was, I don't care if you're Lutheran, Baptist, Latter-day Saints, Catholic, Greek Orthodox. We all pray to the same God. Whether we get down on our hands and knees on the side of our bed, or we're taking a walk in a wooded area, He hears us. If He could see every time we sin, don't you think He certainly hears us when we talk to Him? It's common sense. It hurts my head. You're going to find this out about me the more videos I make. I'm a straight shooter. I don't like bullshit. And I will say what I think. And that's one of the points. Another thing I saw today. I'm flipping through. I go on YouTube. I go on Rumble. I go on Telegram. I rarely go on Facebook. I don't like that one. But anyway, I get plenty of news all over. Newsbreak, I get it all over. And I make mental notes of these things. Obviously, I'm retired and have nothing better to do. I mean, how many times can I dust my furniture in one day? So, I'm on the internet. Don't take my internet away from me. But in any case, I saw this one article, and there was, I don't know if it was a parade or a protest or something, and it was I'm not going to say the name, a B&H prep for a rally. I don't know what it was, but it was a big group to elect B&H, well, H and W now. And this person was just walking down the same street they were in. I'm not going to say what kind, but it was a red hat. Do you know that man got attacked? And all he was doing was minding his own business, walking down with his red hat on. And I'm like, okay, on this channel, I'm not going to get political, but I am going to talk about people's personalities. And I am going to talk about what's right and what's wrong. And I am going to talk about how you and me react to certain situations. Because as you could tell by looking at me, I'm old school. I don't believe in if somebody doesn't like what I say, they're going to sock me in the mouth. I don't think so. Now, this poor guy got attacked by the H&W group because he had a red hat on. Now, I do realize there's a lot of people's opinions about you can't reason with that side. But that brings me to the point that I want to make. And I'm a prime example. My next door neighbor has his opinion in his front yard. I am not of the same opinion. Does that mean I'm going to run around my driveway and run in his yard in the middle of the night and grab that sign and rip it to shreds and throw it on his porch? No. No. And you know why? Because this is America. And so far, except on Facebook and YouTube, so far, we do have the freedom of speech and expression. He's allowed to put a sign in his front yard. That's his yard, his opinion. I don't agree with it, but it's not my yard. I have my opinion right here and right here. So, how do I act when I see him? When I'm going in my car or I'm in my front yard and we meet up, it's, hey, how are you today? Fine. How are you? Fine. That's good. All right, well, you have a nice day. And I get in my car or I carry on with what I'm doing. Do I even mention the sign? No, it's not my business. Do I have a sign posted in my yard? No, I don't. Because, you know, it's nobody else's business. And why would I want to do that and cause an issue? Because nobody knows how he would react if he saw my sign. I don't know if he'd come out and tell me to have a nice day. I really don't know the man that much. But the point is, can't we all stay civil? Do we have to, and this goes with any topic. Do you know when I was making this YouTube channel, it asked me for if I wanted to put my preferred pronouns down? And I'm like, I don't need pronouns. I quite clearly can see what I am. Okay, I'm old. And I get people have other preferences that might be of the same whatever, but I don't. I might have short hair, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to imitate a man. I do have earrings. Well, men wear earrings too. I don't know.